So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun.
Hi, thank you for dropping by and checking out my video today. My name is Rome. This is my first video on YouTube, and I'd like to thank Intelligent McKnight for, I guess you could say, talking me out of my shell and doing some videos and uploading them on YouTube. Now, my videos are going to be basically nature-based philosophy using an ancient method of contemplation. Now, the reason I call it an ancient method of contemplation is because we can see traces of what I'm about to show you, this ancient method of contemplation. We can see it in a lot of ancient texts, especially in those of religions. Now, this is a method where the observer, the individual, would just passively watch nature unfold in front of them, and from it arrive at understandings and conclusions. We can see this in the story of the Buddha. We can see this in many other traditional texts. Pick anyone up and read it. For example, we can see its conclusions written in places such as the Bible, for example, where you have the idea of a son, or should I say sun god or son of God, that dies and rises and moves through or with 12 bodies. Now we can see the archetype for this just by looking up at the sky. Or the 12 parts of the zodiac. But it must have a beginning, so that's why in most, I guess you could say, sun cults, they would say the sun is born of a virgin, or the sun in the Virgin constellation is where their story begins. Okay guys, sorry about that. I had to change devices. My other device ran out of storage space, so now I'm doing the video through a laptop. So the quality may be suffering a little bit, but anyways, let me continue. Right, where were we? Yes. Example, we can see in the nature-based philosophies would be in sun cults, whenever they're telling the story of their victor or victorious one, which is the sun, obviously, the sun-based cult. Or they will say it will be born of a virgin, then perhaps, understand the reference, that's the sun being in the constellation of Virgo. And then from there, you will have the triumphal one move, say, to another location, perhaps a water bearer, or the water sun, Aquarius, where the sun then gets dumped or baptized by the water bearer, son of Aquarius. And then from there we can see how most stories will progress. Say they tell of a story of the sun being in Pisces, the two fishes, and perhaps they want to explain what's going on Earth around that time. And they can say, well, it's a seasonal story, obviously, so when the sun is in Pisces and feeding many, that could be perhaps a time of year they were discussing. Now, I don't want to go through the rest of the tale, but again, we're all aware of nature-based philosophies and how they use an ancient method of contemplation. And most of these stories somehow relate to the human consciousness. Okay, before I close my first video on nature-based philosophies, I guess it would be worth mentioning that most of my nature-based philosophies would be inspired by the Hermetic teachings from one called Hermes Trismegistus. There's a guy worth looking up, Googling. They say this person, shall I say personality, perhaps maybe even was a teacher to Moses. And as he once was, what he's known for saying is, as above, so below. And that's going to be what the whole of the philosophy is going to discuss. The above, how those parts correspond to the below, and how really the below affects the above. There's corresponding to these two parts. When you get them to work together, they do the miracle of one thing. Whatever you put your mind to. Okay, again, I'd like to thank you for stopping by and checking out my video. That'll do it for video 1 of the video series I'm going to start, which will be nature-based philosophies or ancient thinking.
So what, we get drunk, so what, we smoke weed, we're just having fun.